Hey, this is Pastor David at Mount Tabor, and we are studying. Well, we're not studying, we're doing a quick run through of these Proverbs. And today, being March the 26th, we are looking at Proverbs 26. So if you got your Bible, grab it. Let's see what we can learn together. Now, verses 4 and 5 sound like a contradiction. Matter of fact, I've heard this quoted by people as saying the Bible contradicts itself. Well, let's just read it, see what you think. Proverbs 26, verse 4, do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you will be like him yourself. Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes. Well, here's what I think. I think both of them are general words of advice, and both are applicable. Both make sense. A lot of times, your best response to somebody who is acting foolish, saying foolish things, trying to provoke you with words is just to ignore that person. Don't dignify their behavior by allowing them to provoke you. Don't justify foolishness by responding to it. Just walk away. I think that's pretty good advice for your general situation with that kind of person. However, verse 5 is true also. Sometimes you do need to challenge foolishness, because foolishness unchecked can cause a lot of damage. And so sometimes when there's a foolish person that's speaking and their words can foment trouble, then you need to confront foolishness for what it is. So I think both are true. Generally, just leave it alone, but sometimes you do need to confront this kind of thing. All right, let's just move along here. Look at verse 8, vivid picture. It says, like tying a stone in a sling is the giving of honor to a fool. You know, to put a person in a place of honor gives that person a great potential to affect others and to affect change. A foolish person wastes it. That's basically what it's saying. It's like taking a stone and putting it in a sling and tying it into that sling, and then of course when you throw the stone, it goes nowhere. It's tied in the sling, and that's what giving honor to a fool. A fool may be put into a position of influence, but they're not going to avail themselves of that opportunity as they should. All right, look at verse 11. I've heard this all my life. Matter of fact, it's quoted by Paul in one of his epistles. Is it Galatians chapter 2, I believe? But look at verse 11. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. I think the message is pretty obvious. I mean, I'm a dog lover. I've had pets all my life, and I get to thinking they're like people. They're like humans, but they're not. And sometimes they remind you that they're not, and this is one of those occasions. If a dog throws up, he's just as likely to go and eat that throw up. It's an awful thing, but it reveals the true nature of that animal. It says, so with a foolish person. They do not just commit folly, learn from their mistakes, and move on. That's a wise person. Even wise people mess up, but they learn from their mistakes. A foolish person repeats the same error time and time again and never learns. Well, skip on down to verse 17. Speaking of dogs, it says, like one who seizes a dog by the ears is a passerby who meddles in a quarrel not his own. You know, a dog can be a very gentle creature, and even big dogs are very gentle, but I wouldn't suggest grabbing a dog by the ears and slinging him around. He might show you what his true nature is. That's a foolish thing to do. You know better. And it says you know better than to meddle in a quarrel that's not your own. You ever tried that? You ever tried to insert yourself into a matter of serious disagreement between two people, and you're not asked to do so, and you just think, well, I'll just take it on myself to be a peacemaker here? It usually doesn't work out too well. You end up alienating both people, and they do find a way to unite. They unite against you. So this is saying you best leave those situations alone. I mean, pray about them, speak gently as you can with the people, but don't meddle in that situation until you're asked to. And that's true with most people that have problems. I mean, we can recognize somebody that has problems a lot of times before they do, and we can pray for them. We can be there for them. But it's when they invite us to help them that we can truly make a difference. Well, look at verse 18 and 19. Like a madman shooting firebrands or deadly arrows is a man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. Don't you hate that? When somebody says or does something that is hurtful to you, and then they come back and say, oh, I was just joking. Oh, lighten up, it's just a joke. Well, I tell you what, words hurt. And a lot of times they realize that what they say and what they do hurt, and they think they can get off just by saying, I was only joking. No. Be careful using that kind of strategy on people. And somebody that treats you that way is not your friend, I'll tell you that. Verse 20, without wood, a fire goes out. Without gossip, a quarrel dies down. You know how the best way to stop a rumor or to stop a word of gossip? Just don't throw any wood to the fire. They've got this fire going, and you can keep it going by passing along that word of gossip. But what if you just refuse to do so? You just let it end with you. That's how you put out the fire, I think it says. Verse 22, the words of a gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to a man's inmost parts. There is a temptation. There is a desire that comes when you hear something tantalizing about someone else. And you want to go and tell someone that. I mean, it's part of human nature. You know what you should do, but there is that great temptation to pass it along. Maybe you justify that by just telling your closest friends, or say, this is just confidence between us, or telling your husband or your wife. Yeah, I've got to say that it is tantalizing to pass along gossip. That's the deception of it, and that's the power of it. Don't give in to that temptation. As tasty as it may be to pass it along, you need to follow the guidance that we just saw. Put that fire out by refusing to continue that word of gossip. And then let's look at the last verse of Proverbs 26. It's verse 28. A lying tongue hates those it hurts, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Did you hear that? A lying tongue hates those it hurts. You ever had somebody lie to you and then say they love you? People do that, you know. You'll catch them in a lie, and they'll feel bad, but then they say, but I love you. I want you to know I love you. Don't believe it. To lie to somebody is to give evidence that you are not seeking the highest good for that person. And that's what love is to seek the highest good for another person. That's the agape love that Jesus speaks of. It says a lying tongue hates those they hurt. So if you lie to me or you lie about me to someone else, that's the opposite of loving a person. Keep that in mind. Well, folks, we're going to stop there. I hope you'll pick up your Bible and read Proverbs 26. Won't be long till we'll be getting into Proverbs 27. Check with us here sometime tomorrow, and it should be available. All right, you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.